everybody. Welcome to Aksumawite Media. My name is Saba Tesfay, and I will be your host for today. Today, I wanted to introduce something a little bit different, and we will be discussing what is in your power and how to lead from where you are. As we know, we're all very much aware of every detail that's happening in Tigray and many, many, many details that we do not know what's happening. And with this happening on a daily basis, new atrocities, new horrific news coming to us on the daily, multiple times a day, we know how this can very much affect our wellness, our overall well-being, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical well-being. We are becoming aware how this is extremely affecting us globally that are in the diaspora, not even to mention those that are in Tigray. But being that we have the luxury of not being in the middle of this conflict right now, and while it's a natural human response to such, horrible things, I just wanted to share today a little bit of additional ways in which we can help and support our brothers and sisters back home, how we can amplify our energy, how we can hopefully come together and find some peace to see resolution in Tigray. So before we get started in discussing these sort of concepts and where we're at, I would like to take a moment of silence and reverence for over 500,000, many more, of our Tigrayan loved ones whom we've lost. Their existence is of highest value, which we know and are very clear in this whole ordeal. And so now we're just going to take 1 minute of silence for those who have lost their lives in this senseless conflict. Alrighty, thank you for that moment. I know it's sometimes dead air, and when you're watching the playback, it's quiet, but I think it's important to just give thanks and gratitude for those who are part of our history, who are our family members, who have left this earth in the midst of all of this. So we honor them, and we must do what's in our capacity to make sure that we live properly for them and that we see something of positive come from it all. So again, we're all very much aware of the many things, and I can say from day one, we have the receipts, every single thing, every single step, every single day, there's receipts for everything that's been happening. So it will be properly documented, I'm sure of this, and the truth cannot long be hidden. So I would like to take the moment to focus on some of the highlights and some of the positive things that are happening within our communities, and things that have been happening recently. So right now we have many of our brothers and sisters and allies who are currently protesting throughout Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and in London. I know in Los Angeles yesterday, they went to the federal building, and it was a very brilliant showcase. They put together boxes of food that were ready to ship. It mentioned that 3 million will be dying due to starvation within the next within the next few months. And this food was set up on the steps of the federal building to display that we have the resources, we have the food, we have the finances to provide even aid ourselves to our communities and our families back home in Tigray. However, we do not have the access. We do not have the ability to communicate with them. So this was a very open and clear display of the horrible things that are happening, and that it's simply the fact that we don't have access. And this is where our representatives have the ability to support us in that way, to get access so that we can provide the aid to our families. So with that, we should all be aware of the petitions going around. So the Coalition of Ethiopian Returned Peace Corps volunteers advocating for peace in Tigray have put together a script, as well as many other organizations, to call Congress and voice your support for HR 66,000 and senators to support S 3199. So you can call the number 202-224-3121 to reach your representative and share your connection with Tigray and your request for them to support these bills. Again, that phone number is 202-224-3121. There is and please share the link with friends and families and anybody that has access to a phone or a computer to sign these petitions and these requests for our representatives to make sure that they represent us. Because here in the States, we have that ability. So these people are put into office to represent us, their jurisdiction, and their constituents within their jurisdiction, to make sure that they represent what we are requesting of them. So there's also a 72-hour Twitter campaign going on. Pre-made tweets can be found at tigrayyouthnetwork.org, at irobanina.org, or at omnatigray.org. So if you don't already have a Twitter, and even I'm doing this later today, where I'm helping some folks who do not have a Twitter but would like to get a Twitter, to just register. You don't need to have your personal information on there. You can put, a Beles photo or a photo of Aksum on your profile picture if you'd like. But if you set up a Twitter and you join this Twitter campaign with hashtag 500 days of Tigray genocide and hashtag 500 days, we are going very hard for the next 3 days, and the tweets are already ready for you, so you don't need to really know how to do it. Once you're registered and you go to a website such as Omna Tigray, you can simply click and it will automatically feed to your Twitter. So it's very convenient. We're very thankful for the organizers who have made all of these things available. There are a few other positive things happening. Samrawit Nguzi Silva is starting a series called Friends of Tigray, where she will be interviewing friends and allies globally who stand with Tigray. Gabriela Tesfay, she is founder of the Tigray Art Collective. If you're not already familiar, I suggest that you look into it, because she's highlighting a range of Tigrayan artists. And it's extremely beautiful to see how people are expressing themselves during this time. And for us to, share and support those artists who are Tigrayan, because we know Ethiopia gets a lot of global visibility when it comes to art and beauty and music and these types of things. And we've seen people capitalize on that. Right now, Yared, I need to find his Twitter or his Instagram hashtag, but he is currently selling images that represent the Tigrayan culture, and making a lot of money off of it through Bitcoin and these crypto NFTs and that type of thing. And so it's really important during these times that that we support our community, and we support the Tigrayan Art Collective and those artists within that group. The organization is currently welcoming collaborative ideas. So if you are an artist or have any project proposals for collaboration, you're welcome to submit on their website, Tigray Art Collective. Gabriela recently shared something from UNICEF official who showed some of the displaced Tigrayan children who are learning to draw and express their feelings during this conflict. And I saw there was a nonprofit who also was able to get seedlings to displaced families to begin to grow. And these are the types of things that I would like us to start focusing on. So we're going to get into some of the programming of what we discussed. And if it's, let me get to the basics. So regardless of what religious or spiritual background you have, there are laws of physics and laws of matter and how they operate. And so we are all energetic beings, whether you want to believe that or not. Scientifically, we're energetic beings. So everything is vibrating at a certain frequency. So this cup is vibrating quick enough so that it becomes a physical object. And our collective perception has agreed that it's a cup. And so that's how it physically manifests and becomes a cup in this form. And with that, we are also energetic beings. And you can see that even on a daily basis when you wake up, and sometimes you have high energy, sometimes you have really low energy. And it very much has to do with the biology of how much oxygen your blood is receiving. Perhaps certain nutrients are higher or lower, maybe lack of sunlight, and these types of things, which is also an extreme energy source that is that recharges your system through the assimilation of vitamin D and things like that. So it is not this woo-woo concept. This is a very much a clear understanding of us as energetic beings. So again, going back to what I said in the introduction, how much we are so deeply affected about what's going on in Tigray. And it's natural, and it is clear that we will be affected by what's happening. These are our families. They are extensions of us. This is our home. We are extensions of it. So naturally, it is going to affect us. However, in the spirit of Wayane, I am also a representative of a partner in a brand called Way and Wear, and we very much stand for the notion of Wayane and this resistance, which us as Tigrayan people have historically seen for hundreds of thousands of years. Not only is it resistance and the art of war and protection and resisting outsiders and oppression, it is also creation. It is also the first of so many. As we know, the history of Aksum and the history of Aksum prior to bringing Christianity to Ethiopia, as well as Nagash, the Nagash Mosque, and being the first to welcome Islam and be a point of refuge for Islam. So, so while there is this history of resistance, there's also this history of great and profound creation. And this is where our power lies. And this is where we have to keep remembering and just be very clear, of course, we get disappointed every time when we see those who we thought were our brothers and sisters say horrible things or support these atrocities. I simply reduce it to jealousy. When you see something that you really can't control, or a pride or a confidence which you can't understand, it's a part of the human nature as well. So just remembering who we are and the immense power that lies in that. And it's just, the times where we're in now, it's just very, it's not just a war of flesh and blood. It is also a war of spiritual wickedness in high and low places, as they say. And with that, this is where we need to return to our power, and we need to do our best to regulate our energy in order to be the most fit in these times. And so I think it's important for us to stay updated on the things that are happening, but it's just as important for us to take hold of our well-being. And I want to share a few concepts. If you may or may not have heard of he's a neuroscientist. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm sharing his work simply because it is one of the most documented recently in modern times. And it's science that is able to be understood in how we live our lives. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, he was actually, I believe, a chiropractor in the past. He got into an extreme injury. They told him he needs to have his entire spine fused. And because he was a chiropractor, he went for a second opinion. They said the same thing. And as he was laying on his face, couldn't move, they told him he would never be able to walk again. He sat there and he began to think about his thoughts. And with that process, thinking about his thoughts, he decided that he went in and he basically rebuilt his entire spinal structure in his mind. And anytime his thoughts would go off track, he went back to it. And within extreme short periods of time, I'm talking something, and I should know this story and know how long it took, but something like either 4 weeks to 4 months, he was able to walk again. And so he saw extreme improvements, like within a few days, where he realized that this was working. Long story short, he's a fully mobile, and he has all of his mobile functions. And he came out of it and looked into the science and said, why is nobody studying this? So he went back to school, studied neuroscience, and collaborated with a great team of experts in this field, and has been able to share with us how neuroscience really works. With this, he explains it a lot better than I do. I really want to recommend a program called Rewired, and it is found on a platform called Gaia. I believe you can get 30 days for free, and these are short segments. It's called Rewired, and it goes into the whole neurobiology. But he went in and he studied neurobiology and the science of the brain and how these things work, because once you start focusing your mind in places, which includes where you're thinking, what you're thinking about, that will then affect your mood. you start to change the neural pathways within your brain as well as your body, which can affect how DNA expresses itself. The way DNA expresses itself, it changes not just what's happening in our body, but what's happening around us, just based off the energetics that we are emitting. And again, this is in a very scientific way. So I'm just going to share a few points. So you might have heard this again in the spiritual or woo-woo or certain ways, but it's found in the Bible, it's found in the Quran, it's found in all the spiritual texts as well, and just the power that we have within ourselves. So where you put your awareness and for how long will map our destiny. So this was a quote from him. And so with that, again, I would like to encourage us to, whether that's through meditation or prayer or going on walks and focusing on your breathing instead of all the other things, just to get to a center, that this will have the ability for us to, restore and rejuvenate within ourselves. And then we have the capacity to think about what we would like to see for Tigray, right? It's important as a collective that we're envisioning a great, independent, free, and powerful Tigray. And I know that's where majority of us are focused. And to see that happen, we have to take these action steps. So it's all a part of the process. Protesting and advocating and sharing awareness are essential in this process. However, our wellness must be at the forefront of all of that in order to sustain it and in order to see it become much more effective. So I want to encourage everybody to please consider taking 5 to 10 minutes at the start of your day and at the end of your day, whether that's simply just taking a breath in and then deep breath out, releasing. Somebody recently gave a suggestion to me where it's you breathe in and you see it taking over your brain and your thoughts and just clearing out everything and releasing it. So because just by changing the way that you think, you are actually changing your brain, as I mentioned. So we go through somewhere between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. And it is recorded that approximately 90% of those thoughts are exactly the same ones that we had the day before. So this means that we are basically reliving the same things from our past. However, if we would like to create our future, we must start focusing our thoughts on the things that we would like to see more. So our thoughts are incredibly powerful. Please know that. So if in a moment of despair and heartache, instead of thinking about, feeling that pain deeper and deeper, and there's a space for that and it's necessary, but once that's released, envisioning a field of love or protection reaching our loved ones back home, and simply holding that space and that vision and that feeling of hugging our loved ones, of knowing that they're smiling, of seeing them feel well, feel better, look at the sunshine and come together. Those types of things that those are the things that I want us to start thinking about and start feeling. So it's a feeling. How you feel is going to be very powerful. Because it's a conditioning. If we're conditioned and Wayane and Tigrayans, we do not have that. So as much as somebody can call us a name, we take that name and use it as a form of empowerment. So it's not within our DNA to feel down or feel bad based on the oppression or the hate that's being sent our way. However, it will have an effect on us, and we have to think about our children as well and how they see us hurting. And I think sharing stories of resilience are important, because the Tigrayan, all Tigrayans are extremely resilient. And we see that for majority of us that are here in the States, and how we got here and how our parents got here, and just the always striving for growth. And so this whole story about what is in your power and leading from where you are, it's one, taking care of yourself and energetically putting out more positive and more strengthening energetics, and that's through remembering who we are. That's through continuing on the path and not losing hope is basically the same thing. And I don't think that there's no option for us to lose hope. However, again, within ourselves, that's where that's most important, because we know in the long term there has to be a way, and there will be a way. However, within ourselves on a daily basis, if we can just return to the place of power, which is your well-being. So we cannot create a new future by holding on to the emotions of the past. So we must create a new future by creating new emotions. And we see this in the protests when, some people may feel the need to criticize when our communities are going out and partying and celebrating and dancing. However, it's a balance, and it's a restoration, and it's also essential. Just as we see our soldiers in TDF who are there on the resistance, and their dancing is what brings us joy. So you must also give yourself the freedom to dance, and give yourself the space to dance, and to smile, and to laugh, and to love, because we have this life that we were given, and it's our duty. It's our duty to live it to the fullest on behalf of Tigray, to work together on behalf of Tigray, and to keep hope, and to do anything within our power. And that very much has to do with the positive and the good things that are happening. Because at this point, after 500 days over, almost coming with, we'll see, we just, the time is just passing so quickly in terms of how long this has been going on. And we see how the world is reacting. Tigray is now literally the place of the highest suffering on the planet Earth that we know of. And we see the way that the world is either responding or not responding. And with that, again, I just want to highlight that this shows us where we are, because, within our hearts, we know the truth. And so we must just have faith and continue moving forward in trusting, whether that's in the higher power that you believe in, or within yourself and what you know to be true, that it's because of our strength. It is because of who we are that we are in this position, in this pivotal point in time. And so just doing what's within our ability, and also having reverence for the life that we have, and our environment, and the environment that we're in. So again, making sure that you're taking care of your home, taking care of your children, making sure that they feel loved. Even in this time of sorrow, we must balance it with love and rejoicing and coming together and dancing and singing and telling stories and sharing the journey along the way. Because, and that's a program that I'm going to be coming up, that I'm going to be sharing with the larger audiences here soon. However, the essential, hearing the stories from our elders and the traditions. So it's extremely important for us to make sure that we're doing that and utilizing this gift of life that we have in honor of those who've lost theirs. So you might have heard this before, but it has a concept of where you place your energy is where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And in the world of, law of attraction and these types of things, again, not trying to emphasize that side of things, more so going on the scientific and energetic side of things. But energy flows where attention goes. So wherever you are focusing your attention is where your energy will be flowing. And this is, again, where I call us all to collectively focus our energy on peace and protection and love for all of our family members and children and loved ones in Tigray, as well as a bright future for Tigray. I personally see Tigray as being something like a Wakanda, if you've ever seen the movie called Black Panther, where it is very rich in resources, it is rich in intelligence and genius and goodwill and these types of things. And so and Wakanda is actually protected by this field, which makes it invisible to others, and all this is in the movie. However, this is where I want to also encourage, and we'll talk about this in future episodes when we're speaking on business, but for young people that are getting into tech and that are getting into business. And I personally have a background in sustainability and sustainable development, and so I'm also working on a few projects for Tigray that I hope to see come about here in the very short term. But technology and innovation is at an all-time high. So thinking about all the resources and all the richness that we can bring and teach students in Tigray for our nation. So I hope that you learned a little bit of something from today. If there is a response, please share in the comments. If it resonated with you, if you feel like you need a little bit more of the clarification, I'm going to do my best to have more slides available so that you can visibly see what I'm sharing, and I can also reference some of the science. And perhaps we can even go through some exercises together in regards to taking that moment on all of the YouTube stations, all of the news, all of everything, but to then tune into ourselves and tune into our own power, and sending that and sharing that with our brothers and sisters globally. So my call to action here is I would say you can choose a number, or we can all collectively choose. And if, for example, when you see the number 1111, or if you see the number 222, when you see this come across your path, whether you're driving and you see a license plate, or you look at the clock and you see that time, I would like you to just, for those two things, so every time you see 1111 or 222, or if you hear a bell, so any type of bell, if you're walking and you hear a ding or a phone dings, I want you to use that, the things that come up in your environment, as a prompt. So whenever you hear these things, I encourage you, and I'm asking that we then take that moment and become aware of that response, that trigger that's been shared in our environment, for us to become aware of, and to stop what we're doing, take a deep breath in, and to then tap into those feelings which we've discussed. So first and foremost, tap into the rejuvenation of yourself, and the comforting and the finding the peace within yourself, however that means for you. Whether that means saying a prayer and feeling comforted by that prayer, whether that means sitting in silence in a meditation for a few moments just by observing your breath, whether that means saying a phrase, and then also, so rejuvenating ourselves, sitting in prayer or meditation, and then I would like us at those times, 1111, 222, or if you hear a bell at any point in time, to pause and then think about protection, love, and peace and comfort reaching all of our loved ones in Tigray, to then and visualizing that and feeling what that feels like when you see the child receiving the peace, and for our soldiers as well, for those who've been fighting. I send them love all the time, and I hope that they receive that, and I give them thanks in this sacrifice that they've made to protect Tigray. And so so seeing love, protection, and comfort over our TDF soldiers as well, and seeing this come over them, seeing it reach them, visualize this, feel them, feeling it as if you're communicating with them. And I want us to practice that. So if you can, please write in the comments if you happen to see 1111, 222, or hear a bell. And if you did that practice, please share it with us. We really want to hear it. Share your thoughts in regards to all that's been shared today. And I hope to come back again and, come with a part 2 to provide further clarification. And I hope this is also reaching you with some encouragement and reminders of who we are and where our power lies. So I thank you very much for tuning in today. Again, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, share Aksumite Media Network. We're very thankful for the platform. And we want to encourage everybody in the diaspora and give thanks for those who are taking action and leading from where you are. And if you're unable to make it to the protests, don't feel bad. Instead of feeling bad, take that time to do these exercises. Say a prayer, sit in meditation, rejuvenate your energetic field, because this is the most potent and powerful way that we can actually make an influence. Again, as an example, if you go into a business meeting and you're feeling bad and you're not feeling because you didn't finish your presentation properly, or you just heard the competitive proposal get put in and you don't feel like your proposal is going to match up to it, will that come off? That will come off in how you're presenting your proposal. However, if you go in with confidence, if you go in with feeling good, that proposal will be received in a more powerful way. So, we're trying everything within our capacity. We're looking in every single direction in a way to make our voices be heard. And so this is my suggestion, and this is my hope that we can practice, and not only for our voices to be heard, but also for our spirits to be comforted, for our spirits to be restored, so that once the access is open, that we all have the energy and the strength and the ability to contribute the way that we would love to. So yes, all of that again. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Remember where your power is. Lead from exactly where you are, in your seat, in your chair, in your car. You can be a leader, and you can express your power in these ways. So thank you again, Aksumite Media Network. My name is Saba Tesfay. We appreciate you all, and hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Please tweet, please call your representatives, and please use your power. Thank you.